Alabama and Vanderbilt get set to do battle down in Tuscaloosa in a revenge game for Kalen DeBoer and company, or will it be Diego Pavia once again pulling one of the all-time upsets in college football? We are here previewing, predicting, and breaking down this game between the Crimson Tide and the Commodores. Hello, everyone. I'm Chris Phillips. He's Cole the Bear Thompson. We appreciate each and every single one of you tuning in. As always, guys, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. You got us to 25,000 subs on YouTube. Now the race to 30,000 is officially on. We can't do it without your love and support, and we appreciate each and every single one of you. Also, guys, make sure you check out our friends over at FanDuel, because as always, we are brought to you by our friends at FanDuel. FanDuel.com/SECU to get started with $250 in bonus bets when you win your first $5 bet. Once again, that's FanDuel.com/SECU to get in on the action today and get your $250 in bonus bets when you win that first $5 bet. Alabama and Vanderbilt at Bryant Denny Stadium. Did you all forget what happened last year? Yeah, there's a reason this one might be a pretty big deal, because Vanderbilt pulled the all-time shocker, one of the all-time shockers in college football history. Certainly, I'd argue the biggest upset in SEC football history when they did the unthinkable and took down the Crimson Tide in Nashville a season ago. Now, it's Diego Pavia. The boogeyman returns. He's back to see if he can torment Kalen DeBoer once again. But here comes Alabama coming off a win against Georgia. They're at home. They're looking for revenge. This one's going to be fun. Once again, it's Bama, it's Vandy. This is SEC Unfiltered, and this is our full preview, prediction, and breakdown of this game. I am Chris Phillips. Joining me, as he always does, and maybe, Diego Pavia's number one fan, it's Cole the Bear Thompson. Bear, what's going on, man? Appreciate you taking the time. As you can tell, I'm fired up. I'm stoked to talk about this game. Super compelling, super interesting. Man, this one's going to be a lot of fun. Bear, appreciate you taking the time. Excited to talk about it with you.
It's ranked Alabama versus Vanderbilt. It's Vandy looking to clinch a bowl eligibility berth before October 10th. Vanderbilt coming to town. It's a Heisman contending caliber quarterback, Diego Pavia, looking to place the role of spoiler. And it's also the governor of Alabama, because remember, when you win against both Alabama and Auburn in the same year, you then control the state, coming to his home away from home that he's actually never stepped foot in before. But you know what? Most people have never gone to Alabama, and they've ended up becoming very much a folklore. Baba Yaga looking to go ahead and pull off an upset. But Alabama, things are a little bit different this time around when you face off against the Commodores.
Yeah, it's the reception for Baba Yaga in Tuscaloosa is going to be interesting, to say the very least. Let's put it that way. Again, Bear, this game taking place this Saturday, October the 4th, 2:30 p.m. Central Time kick on ABC. By the way, if you don't realize it's a big game, College Game Day has decided to make this their trip this weekend. So they are headed down to T-Town for the game. Again, like I mentioned, game being aired on ABC. It's down in Tuscaloosa at Bryant Denny Stadium. Bear, interesting via our friends over at FanDuel. So before the action on Saturday, I took a look, and FanDuel had early lines for week number 6. This is week 6, correct? Week 6 of the season, right? They had early lines before Saturday's games were ever played. This was on Friday of last weekend. Alabama at that point was an 11.5-point favorite. So obviously, whatever happened Saturday night against Georgia and what Vandy did against Utah State, I suppose, was going to affect this line. I look at the spread early Sunday morning. Bama opened, essentially, or Bama was at that point, a 13.5-point favorite. Bear, as of the time of you and I speaking right now on this Monday morning, that number has tumbled. Bama's just a 9.5-point favorite. So there's some Baba Yaga believers out there. There are some Doors backers out there, because Bama just a 9.5-point favorite in this game. The over-under set at 56.5. Bama leads the all-time series 60-20-4, but most notably, who can forget their last meeting when Vanderbilt beat the Crimson Tide 40-35 in Nashville, and they took that goalpost and carried it all the way to the Cumberland River, where it probably still sits at the bottom of. Bear, as we dive into this game, we have to start with this. Here comes the boogeyman. It is spooky season. spooky season's here, and
It's his time. It's his time to shine. This is his month
for Caitlin DeBoer and company, and for the Crimson Tide. And I know there's probably a lot of our Bama folks tuned in that are just nauseated by the way I'm speaking about this, but it's like one of my good Bama buddies said last week going into the Georgia game. Maybe it still applies, but the shoe's on the other foot this week. Until you kill the boogeyman still lives on. He's still there. And Diego Pavia, for the state of Alabama, is the boogeyman. Does that change on Saturday? Does it not? Either way, the guarantee is this, Bear, no matter what happens in this game, we are going to be entertained by the things that Diego Pavia does on the football field. From the X's and O's side, the quarterback run game is something that has given Bama fits. It has given Kane Womack fits, and it is Diego Pavia's strength, right? And this guy is a ball player. He just flat out makes plays when Vandy needs the most, and it's more than him. I think that's what's people maybe forget, or what is so exciting about this Vandy team. It's Cedric Alexander. It's Eli Stowers. It's Junior Sherrill. It's a defense that has been really, really good, really salty under Clark Lee. So it's more than Pavia, but it starts with number 2 under center. And one of the reasons they beat Alabama, maybe the reason, he gave them a superhuman performance. He'll have to do that again, and maybe then some in Tuscaloosa to do it again.
Yeah, he's going to have to. But you also got to give a lot of respect to what Vanderbilt has done over their last 5 games. I mean, they were able to come on out swinging against Charleston Southern. They go play on the road against a Virginia Tech team that people thought, well, all the changes in the offseason from last year, it'll be fixed. They mollywopped them in the second half. It wasn't even close. They go into Willie B, a place that they always lose, and they look like the better team. And then, Chris, in their last 2 games, they've had 25 drives offensively. They have scored on 18 of them. I mean, it's a night and day difference. This is not just a team that relies on time of possession and a couple of trick shots down the field and some big, big breaks and a defensive stop. No, it's a surgical offense that has taken on the identity of what their quarterback is, a straight up killer, and has embodied now playing a brand of football that is sustainable in the SEC. We've gone from talking about Vanderbilt as a fun little cute story from last season that got a great win and was the upset of college football to legitimately thinking that they could be a 9-win team, thinking that they could be in the college football playoff conversation, making it to Atlanta. And it starts with the quarterback's persona, but you also got to think about Clark Lee and what this program means to him and him being a former player there and wanting to turn Vanderbilt into a program that not only is sustainable, but is competing for things other than just bragging rights and a bowl game. And they look the part right now. But for Alabama, the good news is you showed in the last 3 games, there's a lot of change to your roster that can be beneficial to where you are now in the hunt for a college football playoff bid. You are right, though. For Alabama, you kind of expect to beat Georgia because you want to know why? You do it all the time. You haven't beaten Diego Pavia. Pavia's coming into your house. And so you can say that you have turned the corner and things have gotten a lot better for you. But until we see it, until we actually visualize him basically sitting there starstruck or flabbergasted, wondering what could I do to actually pull off the win, it's very easy to say Vanderbilt has all the edge right now going into this matchup. Because to be fair, they kind of do.
Bear, you got to think, right, that Vandy's going to lean on a very similar game plan to what they beat Alabama with a season ago, right? I think they're going to want to run the football. I think they're going to want to put together long, sustained drives, keep Alabama's offense off the field, right? They did such a good job with that a season ago. They were great on third downs. I mean, we know, the offense at this point of Vandy, it's going to be a lot of motion, a lot of deception. You're going to have some option in there. They're going to do some things that you don't normally see. And I think the thing that would give me cause for concern if I'm a Bama fan is this. I mean, you got gutted by Georgia in the run game. Yes, you won the football game, but Georgia ran the ball at will. Can Vandy run it at that same clip, or at least close to that same clip? Yeah. Here's the thing. I did not think Georgia ran Gunnar Stockton nearly as much as they should. Vandy's going to run Diego Pavia.
He's their leading rusher.
Right. I was going to say he's going to be as involved, if not more involved than anybody else, probably more involved than anybody else in that rushing attack. So, yeah, you're going to be tested. I mean, if you can't stop the run, Bear, You might win, but this is going to be a 4-quarter battle in your backyard if you cannot stop the run more effectively than you did a week ago.
Here's the difference, though. Last season, Alabama lost the turnover battle. Bad interception by Jalen Milroe. Really, really bad fumble. Ty Simpson has been as advertised and then some. And I go back even to that Florida State game. He did not have an elite performance, but he showed on up. Him and Shermy
He wasn't
Bernard.
why they lost.
Him and Shermy Bernard were the only reason why the offense stood a chance in this football game. And ever since then, I mean, he's been almost perfect. 69.3 completion percentage. The last 3 games, he has a 72% completion percentage. Over 1,000 passing yards. 11.2 yards per pass attempt. He's only been sacked 4 times too. 11 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and he can run the football. Now, he's not going to run it efficiently like Diego Pavia. There are going to be design plays where you just say, hey, 15, go off to the races. You're not going to have that. But there is enough to like about what he has shown you that even though you had a mobile quarterback last year in Jalen Milroe put the ball in harm's way. If you don't have the critical drops or the fumbling of footballs like a Ryan Williams, he's juggling it in the air, and then you watch as a defensive back comes on in, Marshall Height, and gets the pick and runs back the other way, you're in a good position. And you have Ryan Grubb. And you didn't have Ryan Grubb last year. And he is going to get into his bag of tricks to make sure that this is a game where if you're going to beat me, you are going to beat me with that offensive personnel going toe-to-toe with me. Because I'm not going to let Vanderbilt's defense get any shots on us in this matchup.
Bear, do you worry about Alabama following up the Georgia win? Does that I don't. Here's the thing. That's such an easy thing to talk about with any team about, big emotional win. Like, is there a hangover? How do you follow it up? Vanderbilt might beat Alabama on Saturday, but it will not be, or it should not be, because Bama is, still resting on their laurels from the Georgia win, or because they're overlooking the Commodores. I mean, Bear, it would have sounded hilarious 3 or 4 years ago to say this, but Vandy has Bama's full attention. Like, it'd be insane after last year if they did not, right? So, I mean, but then again, I look at last year. I mean, I guess my question to you is this, because Bama was very similar situation. The only difference is we now know what Vandy is, and they sit at 5-0. Again, if you're not taking them seriously, you probably shouldn't be in the position you're in. You shouldn't be talking about ball. You shouldn't be coaching anything. You shouldn't be part of it. But last year, the situation was you were coming off an emotional win against Georgia. You walked into Nashville, and you got smacked around. I mean, the mentality this time around's got to be different, right? If you're, and that's not taking anything away from what happened last year and what Vandy did, but the mentality has to be different in that program, right?
For me, the way that I view this right now, it's not just Vanderbilt is undefeated. Vanderbilt was coming off a loss to Georgia State. Remember that. It was a Georgia State team that people very much thought was underwhelming, and Vandy found a way to mess it up. So you already weren't paying attention to them because of, it was the Panthers. They lost on the road. We got this in the bag, and we beat Georgia. Kalen DeBoer's attention to the little details and to not take his foot off of the gas, I think, has been one of the more underlying traits of what has changed for Alabama this year compared to last season. And that's really, really, really beneficial. They have everyone's attention. Everyone has their attention. Because it's one thing to beat Georgia. They still could lose to Missouri. You're playing on the road this year against a really good rushing attack. You still have LSU coming to town. Tennessee has an offense that is better than last year's unit, and they beat you last season. You got to go travel on the road to face off against Auburn. So, yeah, you got to win over Georgia. But at this point, it feels like that's supposed to happen. Because until further notice, you own Kirby Smart. You don't own Clark Lee. You don't own Brett Venables. You don't own Josh Heupel. You technically really don't even own Hugh Freeze. You need a 4th and 31 play to stop the Iron Bowl from going in favor of the Tigers in their backyard. I mean, like, you are making sure that you are prepared physically, mentally. Every single rep at practice is not going through the motions. It is full on pedal to the metal, and it has to be that way. Again, the thing that I think is going to be the difference in this game that was missing last season is who is the coordinator. and I talked about it all offseason, the move that changed college football and my persona of a team was landing Ryan Grubb. Diego Pavia is going to show on up. Ryan Grubb's going to be in his bag of tricks again. You don't think that he saved some stuff from last week between the hedges, waiting for Diego Pavia's defense to go ahead and bail him out of trouble? I don't think so. There are still some plays that he has got thrown to the wayside that he is waiting on to unleash in this matchup at home. And it's going to come.
I will be intrigued to see. Here's the thing, Bear, in this game, and really sports in general, but especially in football. There is better than, lesser than, and different than. I still say Vandy, like when you just compare these two rosters, there's still probably not many spots where I look at it and say Vandy is just better than Alabama. Just flat out. They're just better. There aren't many. But they're different than. They were different than last year. And it worked, right? It worked. They were very, very different than. Will that be enough yet again? I'm so fascinated by from the standpoint of Kalen DeBoer off a bye week. I think Kalen DeBoer off a bye week might be the best coach in the country. He might be better than Nick Saban, the way he coaches. Can he have his team ready to play up to that level and that standard again? I think these are the games that more scare you if you're a fan of the Crimson Tide than, like you said, Georgia. We know Bama's going to show up for Georgia. They always show up for Georgia. They always show up for the big ones. They're going to show up for LSU. Maybe it's not this one, but you're right. Is it Missouri? Is it Oklahoma? Is it Auburn? Those are the ones that frighten you if you're a fan of the Crimson Tide. I am excited, Bear. I wanted to point out, you mentioned Ty Simpson. Dude's been incredible. The passing attack in this football game specifically. I think Ryan Williams is becoming a storyline now, Bear. The drops are a problem.
Yep.
I mean, the dude dropped a wide open, beautifully thrown ball from Ty Simpson last week. I think I saw the stat, he leads the conference in drops since the start of last season. We know the type of playmaker he is, but that's becoming an issue. But I do trust the passing attack. What Ty Simpson, I agree with you. This still feels like a game in which, and this is not a shot at Vandy, taking nothing away. Bear, this feels like a game to me that if Alabama plays a clean football game, no turnovers, no special teams blunders, if they don't help Vandy, I still think Vandy needs some help to pull the upset. And maybe, again, I'm not giving enough credit. And maybe I'm not giving enough credit to the fact Vandy forced those plays. It's not like Bama gave them to them.
Right.
But like, if you tell me right now Ty Simpson goes out and plays a clean football game, I think Bama wins. I do. And the way he's been playing of late would indicate that he is going to do that. So that matchup, I think, Ty Simpson, what is Clark Lee going to do on the defensive side, I think is going to be really fascinating. I mean, it's going to be, Vandy, they've played Vatek, South Carolina. This Bama offense is going to be their stiffest test yet. There's no question about that.
It is, but same time, Vandy's gone out and earned every single point that they have scored. And they have made sure to make a statement and leave no stone unturned, which is why they currently are the number 4 scoring offense in the country. I mean, who would have thought that 2 years ago, that Vanderbilt was going to be putting up more points than a Lincoln Riley-led team, than a Dan Lanning-led roster, than Kirby Moore out at Mizzou and what he's been able to accomplish, what Mike Denbrock did when he was with Jaden Daniels at Notre Dame, their top 15. Vanderbilt's putting up more points than all of them. And it may be inferior competition, I agree with you, but still, look at the way this roster has come together and the way that they've been able to act. Diego Pavia, 13 plus touchdowns through the year. Then you got to tack on another, another 4 on the ground, 6.1 yards of play. Cedric Alexander and Maitland Young both have been exceptional complementary pieces. Trey Richardson coming on in out of nowhere. He's been phenomenal and a great piece to this offensive personnel. Junior Sherrill's got 5 touchdowns on the year. Eli Stowers still is being Eli Stowers. Offensive line is physical, and they're protecting their quarterback. Diego Pavia, going into this game, has been sacked 3 times. Ty Simpson's been sacked 4. And I get it. It's Florida State and Georgia, so it's a little bit of a different competition. But regardless, they've earned their way to be able to say we belong in the same conversation as Alabama. This is the game, though, to where it will all be determined on can you say we're as good as Alabama? Because it's one thing on paper to say we're 5-0 going into this matchup. We've already beaten the Crimson Tide last season in our house. We have earned the right to say we can compete with Bama. You want to say you're better than you go into their house and you shut them up. And it's Baba Yaga. And it is the boogeyman still doing boogeyman things in the month of October. He can do it. And I don't care what anybody says at all. Until you shut him down, he will always have a shot. And this man is a psychopath. He will do everything possible, including breaking his neck and having some voodoo shaman magic thrown on him to come back from the dead to win a football game. Because it's a nameless opponent on that sideline every single time 2 steps on the field. It is. Doesn't care if it's Alabama or Georgia State. He's going to treat it the exact same way. He wants that win.
Bear, that being said, let's lock in some predictions. Let's lock in some picks for this football game. Would you like the honors?
I'll go first. I'll go first. I think that Alabama still has a lot of questions to answer for me. The run defense specifically, the open field tackling, the missed assignments. You were great on third down execution against Georgia, which was probably one of the more underlying stats that we didn't talk about. And forcing a big time turnover in the red zone and getting points off of it became basically the difference in this matchup. You are going to be without one of your star defensive linemen, Smith, for the first half of this game because of the targeting call. So again, if you are Vanderbilt, do you attack that part of the field and say, we are going to make sure that we run it down their throat and force Deontay Lawson and Hillgreen and everybody else to have to go ahead and play at the line of scrimmage to stop us? And then when we get them in the box, corral it, we get 8, then we go over the top to Trey Richardson, Junior Sherrill. We continue to make those plays. And remember, we're talking about a touchdown pass from a freshman wide receiver, not counting on Georgia's side, from Alabama coming into this game at 500, 2-2. Because they get that ball and that ball lands in the breadbasket, that's a touchdown. So Bray Hubbard and Keon Sabb and everyone else in the secondary could be susceptible to give it up the explosive plays. You are right, though. This comes down to Diego Pavia having an ungodly type Johnny Manziel, Baker Mayfield in the college football playoff caliber performance. That's what this comes down to. He is going to have to deliver because I can promise you this. Kalen DeBoer has had this game circled in permanent red Sharpie since last season walking back home from Nashville. You don't lose to Vanderbilt. You talk about the standard at South Carolina. There are things that you can accept. There's a standard in Tuscaloosa. And losing to Vanderbilt is at the very top of things we do not allow happen. It just isn't. But I can't trust Alabama until I see it on the field. What I can trust is I think Ryan Grubb is the best play caller in college football right now. And when you have a quarterback like Ty Simpson, who's not going to put the ball in harm's way and is not going to make many mental mistakes, it's very easy to say, just get it to Jeremy Bernard, get it to Richard Young out of the backfield, let Jam Miller do his thing as a receiving threat. Isaiah Horton, even Ryan Williams, you got it locked up. Vandy's going to make this a 4-quarter battle. Alabama's going to win. Vandy's going to cover. I hate the line. I can't stand the line at all. I think it comes down to one more throw from Ty Simpson, and Alabama is finally able to vanquish the boogeyman. 34-31 final score. I think that the Crimson Tide pull it off. But I am not doubting Diego Pavia to actually make this a 4-quarter game. And if you tell me that he ends up winning that, comment section, you know what to do. What am I going to put in my body this time for doubting number 2 on doing the job once again?
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of heart attacks had in Tuscaloosa if that game is 34-31 late in the 4th quarter and they got to stop Bobby Yaga to seal it. Bear, if Vanderbilt goes into Tuscaloosa and beats Alabama, they should absolutely erect a statue of Diego Pavia outside of First Bank Stadium. They maybe should do that anyways.
They already should do it, but
they probably should do that anyways. But it will be solidified. 110% should happen if that is to happen. Dude, it's oh my gosh, this game is it's a testament to Clark Lee that this game is even this difficult to pick. Because I there's a lot of things you said I agree with, and I'll be honest with you. I don't trust Kalen DeBoer in games like this. I don't. Coming out of the bye week, he is one thing. Going into a game like this, he is another. If there's one game Alabama shows up and plays their best, it's this one. And that sounds crazy to say because people say it's Vanderbilt. We got to start changing the way we're talking about Vanderbilt. Clark Lee's Vanderbilt is not your pawpaw's Vanderbilt or even your father's Vanderbilt. This is a different Vanderbilt football team led by one of the most electric players in college football in Diego Pavia. I think Vanderbilt can win this football game, Bear. I really do. I think they can. I know that Bama faithful want to see like an absolute blowout. Here's what I'll say is this. Fun exercise for you. Alabama wins if they play a clean football game. I'll actually take it a step further. Alabama wins this football game if they win the turnover margin.
Yep.
Flat out. Just period. Vanderbilt wins this football game if Diego Pavia can eclipse 100 rushing yards. 100 rushing yards or more for Diego Pavia, and Vanderbilt will win this game, and they will pull the upset over the Crimson Tide yet again. Unfortunately, Bear, for the folks in Nashville, I think all great things must come to an end. You're 5-0. You're off to an incredible start. Listen, win, lose, or draw Saturday, I think we should be having a conversation about you potentially making a run to the college football playoff.
Yep.
But I just can't see you walking in a T-town and doing it again. You have got Alabama's full attention, undivided attention. And if Ty Simpson were struggling, Bear, I'd feel better about Vandy. I'm just a believer in Ty Simpson. I think he's going to go out there and play another great game for them. I think the passing attack will be in full force. This is going to be a fun one, back and forth. I think this game lives up to the hype. And I think even in defeat, Vandy earns even more respect that they probably should already have, but they earn even more respect from folks nationally. I think Bama wins. I think Vandy covers. Give me Crimson Tide 38, Vandy 30, and what I think is going to be an all-out thriller, back-and-forth affair. But if there's one game this season, if Bama wins one more the entire rest of the way out, it's going to be this game. Yeah. Kalen DeBoer, like you said, everybody down there in Tuscaloosa, they've had this game circled. It'll be, Bear, dare I say, it'll be an uncharacteristically rockin' Bryant Denny Stadium for a game like this. Typically in years past, this would have been an okay crowd. I think Bama fans show up wanting blood in this football game. It won't be quite the beatdown they hope for and they want, but Bama will get the better of Baba Yaga and prove that he is human and he bleeds just like the rest of us, believe it or not. The boogeyman bleeds just like the rest of us. 38-30, Bama gets the dub. It's going to be a fun one, though. It's going to be a fun one. And I will be so ready. We both will. To eat crow on Sunday.
I will go as far as to say if Alabama loses this football game to Baba Yaga, he is your Heisman Trophy winner, and Vandy is going to the college football playoff. They may go undefeated. They genuinely might go undefeated. Bear's
going to have a lot of family members he's going to have to check up on if Vandy wins this game.
I'm going to have a lot. There are going to be a lot of people in my lifetime that are not going to be well. And lot two is going to, I have no idea what they're going to do, but I'm going to have to pay a visit to them, and hopefully they'll welcome me still with open arms.
Lot 2, baby. Hey, listen, we love you, Lot 2. We're sorry for doubting you again, but this one's a little different. This one's a little different. Hey, Lot 2 will be down there in Tuscaloosa, by the way. Talked to them about it already. They are going, so the Commodores are coming down in full force. We'll see if they can pull the upset or if Bama gets their revenge. Guys, we'd love to hear from you. Alabama, Vandy, you agree with us? Do you disagree? What's your pick for this game on Saturday between the Crimson Tide and the Doors? Guys, when we get out of here, do want to tell you about our friends over at FanDuel, because as always, we're brought to you by our friends at FanDuel. FanDuel's getting you ready for the NFL season with an offer you won't want to miss. Guys, new customers can bet just $5. Get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. Pick a bet $5. If it wins, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use all across the app. Build parlays, bet player props, ride the live lines. Whatever your style, FanDuel's got you covered. The NFL season's here. The only question is, are you ready to play? Visit FanDuel.com/SECU to download the FanDuel app today and get started. Once again, FanDuel.com/SECU to get in on the action today. Guys, once again, that's going to do it all for us. We appreciate each and every single one of you tuning in. Make sure you like and subscribe. The chase to 30,000 subs on YouTube is officially on for SECU. Check us out where you get your podcast, social media, our website, SECUnfiltered.com. You already know the drill. For Cole the Bear Thompson, I'm Chris Phillips. We're signing off. Appreciate you all tuning in. We'll talk to you all on the other side.